want to welcome everyone today to the APM Practitioner Forum here with Vivit. It's a group that we've taken over from HP last year as part of our effort to support the BSM community that make up our base of end users. There we go. And again, I'm Rocky Pisto. I'm supported today by Mark Laird, and as well as one of our SIG leaders. We kind of tag team on these event monthly calls to support you and to address comments, questions that come up during the call. There's a number of other the BSM SIG leaders as well, Jim Copio, Bill Allen, Sandy Schubert, and myself. So we're all volunteers supporting the community to make sure that end users have an opportunity to share their thoughts, questions, concerns about their implementations in the BSM suite. This is a live recorded session, so for those that didn't make the call today, they can reach this session that'll be on our website. And for those of you that are on the call that may want to rehear some of the questions and answers to the questions, you'll be able to do that. This will go out to all members beyond just the BSM SIG. So this call this month, like all the months that we run this, is basically a Q&A session. It's a place for you to ask questions. And typically there are HP folks on the line that can help answer the questions. If not, we'll try to get back to you with answers to your questions. But it's part of our process to share best practices and for, I think, people to learn from each other on how the tools work, issues you're having, successes, those kind of things. So you'll be able to type your questions in the question section. And here's a view of the webinar control panel, and you can see the question/chat area where you can ask questions, and Mark will take the questions as they come along. And if we don't have questions, what I typically do is kind of go down the row of the attendees and find out who you are, what tools you're using, what concerns you may be having, and just to kind of get to know each other a little bit and try to make this as interactive as possible. So just kind of a rehash, the Practitioner Forum is part of the BSM SIG. We have a special spot on the Vivit website. If you're new to this and you're new to Vivit, we are the independent HP software user group, which is a great place for this forum. We've been around since 1993, and I think some of you on this call, Ralph in particular, were on the board back in the beginning of this organization 20 years ago. So it's alive and thriving. Our BSM SIG alone has over 6,000 members worldwide, and Vivit today is up in the area of 28,000 members worldwide, made up of HP software users, partners, and HP software themselves. We've got 76 local chapters around the world and growing. So it's a great place to meet up in your region to interact with end users, HP partners, and share best practices. If there's not a local chapter in your area and you're interested in starting it up, we can help you make that happen. It's pretty easy. We'll connect you with the right folks to coordinate these events. So feel free to reach out. So I think the Practitioner Forum gives you a kind of a unique place to share your experience and learn from like-minded professionals. So that's really what it's all about. And the format for these things, if you haven't been on this call before, is basically we just, if there's a question, we ask the question so everyone can hear it. And I'm not sure if there's any HP folks on the line today. Yes, Asaf is here. Great. So, if it's something that he can address, he will. If not, we'll get back to you with the answers at a later date or to share with you. Oops, going the wrong way. Oops, wrong way. There we go. Okay, slowly, there we go. Find the BSM SIG, and I want to do a quick demo for you before we get started. It's kind of giving people time to get on board, so let me do that here real quick, because there's a couple areas that I want to make you aware of a place to kind of learn more about what's going on. Hopefully I can make that happen. There we go. Okay, great. So this is the front of the Vivit website. And if you go under chapters and SIGs, there's special interest groups. And from there, we're under the BSM SIG, or the Business Service Management SIG. You click on that. And this is our site. So it's got a list of the leaders that are here, our group directory, any calendars, a blog. So you'll see this area called Group Feed. You've got a question or you want to share something with the group. There's, like I said, there's over 6,000 of us in this group now. You can post it here. So it's a great way to share something that, I've just done this upgrade, I ran into this issue, here's how we solved it, or has anyone experienced this, or I'm planning an upgrade, is there any gotchas that I should be aware of? Those kind of things. It's a good place to post. And then we also have our community forums. So simple, just the next tab over. And under the BAC, we should probably update this to BSM, but it's a place where there is dialogue going on, various topics. I don't know how current it really is. I think there's a few things going on, but some of it's pretty dated. But we're trying to grow this again, so you can enter a new topic and see, it goes out to everyone, and there might be some feedback from some of our gurus that can share with you what their thoughts are, those kind of things. So just want to bring those two areas, as well as our knowledge base. I haven't looked here in a while. We're trying to grow this. So if you've got content and you want to bring it into, some of our various spaces like operations, network management, business service management as a whole, it's a place to add content that might be relevant to, our community. So just wanted to share that with you. So back here, Mark, let's see if we've got any questions at this point.
There's no questions at this point, Rocky.
Okay. Then we get to do fun stuff then. Okay. So what I typically do to keep this conversation going is that we start with the we got
I have got a question. But just from one, actually, it's a comment to say that he doesn't want to be involved in the conversation because he's on listen only.
Okay. So that takes Randy out. So let's start with the top of our list, Mark, and start with Zardar.
Do you want me to unmute?
Yeah, let's find out who he is.
Okay. After you carry on, Rocky.
Zardar, how are you? Can you hear us? Are you there? I think I pronounced it right. Zardar. No. Well, let's go to Courtney. Courtney, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can.
Success.
Who are you? What company are you with?
So my name is Courtney Jimenez. I work for the Capital Group company. We are commonly known as American Funds. so we're part of the financial industry for mutual funds.
Okay.
We have what I think is a large implementation of BSM, but maybe not, maybe just because I have to support it. But we run a series of tools. So from a collector perspective, we have NMI, OMW, BPMs, SiteScope. Let's see, I'm sure I'm forgetting one of the
You've had these for a while?
I'm sorry?
You've had them for a while?
Yes, so I've only been in the monitoring game for our environment for the last 2.5 years. We've have had OMW implemented for over 15 years. And then over the last 2 years, we moved over to the BSM 9, actually we were at BAC 8 and upgraded to BSM 9.2.0, which we still currently sit at. We need to move to 9.2.4. And we try to have some highly available environments with 2 gateways, 2 DPSs, everybody's coming in through a VIP type thing. So yeah, we did a lot of infrastructure monitoring. We started with our application monitoring, and we kicked off a pretty big project last year to go out and solicit information from our application teams. So technically, if I was to talk about any issues or concerns, technically we're running okay. We do have some upgrades that we need to implement and do a little bit better on our integrations. Like we have most of our alerts flowing through OMW rather than being directly connected to BSM, like a direct connection between SiteScope and BSM.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a lot of, more of our concerns are more about processes and procedures, getting information from our customers, how other folks, so I just have a general question, if other folks are doing it, how are they doing it? How are they keeping track of those monitoring requests, other than through things like incidents? So one of the things that comes to mind that we do is all the requests that come in, we track that information in a sad Excel spreadsheet. So like for availability, and we have URL monitors, and maybe somebody wants to look at if a directory is available. We kind of track all the parameters in there just so that we know and we can get that information back to our customers. But I don't know if people have a better way of doing it, if people create a homegrown database and a web interface so that people can track that information, et cetera. So
that's great. Yeah, and I know that we're going to be seeing a number of webinars from the BSM group here in the next quarter, talking about all the HP Discover announcements and the upgrades and a lot of the tools, and so that should be coming here shortly. So appreciate the thoughts. If we go ahead.
No, that's about it for me. I mean, we do have our, like I said, we have our technical challenges, but for the most part, we're running into process issues, which my guess are most likely internal. But if anybody has best practices for gathering data and storing data from a customer perspective in terms of what it is they've requested and how you convey that information to your customers, that would be good to know.
Yeah, because everybody's got, I've been doing this for 20 years, and the biggest problem is getting requirements out of people, or they say they want something, but do they really want it? Do they really want to be notified on every little thing at 3 o'clock in the morning? And the answer is no once you start providing them with the metrics they're looking for. So, no, that's great. So I think Eric, let's unmute Eric, because he seems to have something he wants to share that may answer some of your questions. Right? So Mark, can you unmark? Yeah, there you go. And Eric, the next Eric, if you go.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
There. Yes.
Oh, great. Yeah, I was like, wait, I know I registered for this. Why is it not showing as green when I'm putting a question up there? I just wanted to share a little bit about like how we're going about it. This is Eric Cachetta from the Lubrizol Corporation, because I also had a question myself as we kind of move along. But I did want to share with him how we collect data, because he said about spreadsheets, and let me just see if I can answer a little bit or provide some information on how we do it today. So basically, we have a lot of the tools. We're almost on everything. Just as he mentioned, we have so we have BSM. We also have UCMDB, and we have a person who really does a lot of like great modeling and views, and I work with her pretty close. We have a sync that actually sends over, so our RTSM literally consumes, does not push anything. It just consumes views, models, TQLs, and that's how our RTSM is populated. And what we have, we also follow change controls. So a lot of times, well, I have built my own TQLs that, like, once in a while, like say every, I don't know, maybe once a week or every so often, I'll go and I'll run those to see what does not have a monitor, but what was discovered by UCMDB probe that pushed into our RTSM and then was found by Sitescope. So once I do that, then I'll go and add those monitors manually. And we have a template of 4 distinct monitors. We do a ping that's dependent. So we do CPU, hard disk, and we also do memory, and that's all dependent upon ping. Okay, I'm not going to go into complete detail about that, but we apply that manually. But how we do it ongoing is we have a decommissioning and a commissioning process for our servers, because in BSM, we're only and UCMB for that matter, we're only monitoring nodes, which are servers, as everybody probably knows. So that's how we kind of do our daily stuff. Now, we definitely want to try to step into that automated game, because what I've heard and what I've kind of read about is you literally can do something when, say if it's discovered into RTSM, it can apply certain things right out of the gate. Now, that's kind of a little more advanced than where we're at this point in time. We don't have a lot of people like with eyes on glass. However, we are in 2015 really trying to run more with service portfolios. We have service owners. We have service architects. We've been in this game for quite some time. Rocky, I think you even know about Lubrizol quite a bit, and we've been to some of your conferences and things of that nature. So that's kind of where we're at with BSM. So recently we took on a service owner, and we're trying to do end-to-end service monitoring for him. So we're taking that, because he was a person who was actually on our ITSM team, so it's a great kind of use case for us, so we can like put like a kind of a template together for the next service owner and kind of mold it to the way we want to do it. But just kind of giving you a little bit of feedback about how we use Sitescope, how we're using RTSM, how we're using views, and we have portfolios, so we literally set up our views as a portfolio that will have all the way down to the node. So we'll have your portfolio, then it will have your service, and then it will have your applications, and then it will have your nodes, and it will have your monitors and your BPMs. So I don't want to take up the whole time here. I just wanted to provide some of that information, because we're kind of, the way I feel, we're on a precipice of like going to the next level. But I think we need a little help to do so. That though, I just wanted to provide a little bit of information. So I hope that kind of sheds a little light on how we do it.
So Eric, this is Mark Laird. I work for Steria as an architect, and I'm really interested in where you've got to. Do you use operations orchestration or any of the automation tools around monitoring?
Well, we use OMI, of course, to pull in events. But when you're talking about like run books and things of that nature, we actually have Orchestrator on the Microsoft side, but we have not really dove into the HP Orchestrator quite yet.
Okay. So just not blowing my own trumpet, but next month I'm doing one of the Vivit, the BSM webinars on what we've done with cloud server automation integrated with Sitescope, UCMDB, Service Manager, using
Awesome.
OO. So it might be we will be getting the invites out over the next week or so.
I would love to attend that. Thank you.
might give you some some help towards the next step. So
Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking for all kinds of information that I can. And there's 1,000,001 documents throughout all this stuff, but then there's no really anybody who can answer. So that's why these practitioner forums, when they kind of slow down or stopped, I was really upset. So I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you.
okay. Well, I'm based in Europe, but it'll be late evening Europe time.
That's okay. We're
morning-ish.
global, so I mean, I know how to work with
Okay.
European folks.
And Eric, if you have any of that documented, put it on the BSM forum site. Or
Yeah, I'd
send
check
it
that
to
out.
me.
I didn't even know Vivit had one of those. I would always use HPs, but definitely I will check into what what Vivit now is providing. So I'll check that out. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's kind of why I wanted to show our site, because people they're not always aware that we have that capability. So as we try to grow this back to the days of the OpenView days, where we used to have the reflector. For those of you that remember that, it was basically you were tapped into an email service, and anytime anyone made any comment about anything, and the answers came through from some of the gurus out there, we all learned from it. And it was pretty neat technology back in the late 80s, early 90s. So
yeah. Now, can I ask? Would you mind if I ask just a quick question? I don't know if anybody is doing any of the a lot of like BPM related stuff or synthetic transactions, or we don't use RUM, but we use BPM. Would it be okay if I just ask a quick question about that?
absolutely. We've got plenty of time.
Okay. I didn't want to like hijack the whole thing. I just wanted to provide some info and see, if that helps anybody, and then ask a quick question. So, when it comes to the whole like how we have things set up, so we did some customized stuff in HP. I actually have a ticket open on this right now, and I spoke a little bit today. One of the HP engineers today, and he's like, "Oh, it's not out of the box." They like. And I don't mean they, meaning there's HP people on this call. I don't mean they disrespect. What I'm saying is like I know a lot of times once you do something customized, it's not really supported. Okay. However, we not only have like business applications, we have technical applications, because let's be honest, right? Not every application is related directly to the business. So, like for example, Exchange, we have that as a technical application. So the reason why I'm kind of just trying to frame this question is when I create a BPM, so I go on ViewGen and I do my recording or scripting, whatever the case is, I export it, bring it into the script repository and end user management. When I try to apply it, you can only do under business applications. So I can't even see in the list where technical applications are. Now, we know that this is ran by tquels and views. Okay, so I was able to get the technical application, which we define them as app-t as in technical, or app-b as in business. Now, I can see the technical applications now in my list under application management where I'm trying to apply my BPM, but when I right-click it, it's grayed out. So I think we're missing something, maybe in a view, in a tquel, or something to that level. And since this was perfect timing for this practitioner forum, I just thought I would throw it out there. But I do have a ticket open, and I do have somebody kind of looking into it. They're going to try to get somebody from who knows a little bit more about RTSM and or UCMDB, because I think there's like some relationship that's missing or something, but I'm just not quite sure what that is.
Well, Asaf said he can handle that call. So Asaf, go ahead.
Hi. The answer is simple. It has nothing to do with the RTSM. EUM configuration, in this case BPM, can be applied only to a CI type of business application, business transaction flow, and business transaction. If you created a custom CI type called technical application, but you want BPM configuration to be applied on it, you should have created that CI type under business application, extending business application. If you didn't do that, it will never work.
Okay, so you're saying like under the business application, like in CI Type Manager,
yes,
I would actually like extend the technical application from that, and then at that point I should be able to apply BPMs to them.
Exactly. And in that case,
I didn't think.
you can use all the out-of-the-box views like application management. You will see your technical application there because in that case, a technical application is kind of a business application, but for BPM purposes, we need a business application.
Yep, that's the part I've been missing. Thank you very much. I'm still going to kind of keep that ticket open and see what they come back with, but I think you just answered my question. And
Let me know if they will come back with a different answer.
Absolutely, I will. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
He will send you a bill.
Sometimes just talking out loud about something to somebody, you know, and these I get an answer, but a lot of times I don't. So let's hope this trend continues because I'll be on every call.
Great.
Okay, thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Mark, let's unmute, or do you have something?
No, I was going to say I've muted Eric and I've unmuted Gerald, but he appears to be on locally muted. So, Gerald, if you want to ask something, now's your turn.
And we could bounce back up to Eric Walter.
Okay, I've muted Gerald again. I've unmuted Eric Buckwater.
Hi, this is Eric. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Hi, I've participated in this practitioner forum, you know, for the last year or so. I'm at OpenText, formerly GXS. We've been using the OM tools, the HP tools for quite a number of years, mainly OM, Sitescope, NNMI, and most recently we've started using BSM. We're just now getting OMI up and running and moving some of our OM events over to OMI. We also have NA, OO, and BPM in the works as well. I didn't have anything specific I was going to discuss today. I was just listening along.
Okay. Eric, any issues or concerns with the products that you're implementing?
No big, well, I have a couple cases open with some things, but the only concern I think we generally have with OMI is the nature of its high availability and how much downtime is required when you need to do software maintenance. With OM, it's implemented in an HA environment, and it's fairly easy to schedule one server being down while you're patching it and then bringing up, then having the other one down and not having very much downtime because we have a 24/7 NOC that needs to use it. With OMI, we haven't seen yet where that is entirely possible. So, but we're not using it in a full 24/7 yet, but we will be shortly.
Where are you guys located?
OpenText headquarters is in Toronto, Waterloo, Canada.
Okay.
But we're global. My former business, GXS, is located in the Washington, D.C. area.
Gotcha. Great. I'm just trying to think. Toronto has a local chapter that gets together from time to time, and I'm not sure if it's much on the BSM side. I can't remember. Stephen Kiss runs that group up there, and I think it's focused either on service management or some of the testing areas. But there is a local chapter in the area that gets together, brings customers together. So.
Yeah, I've been involved with one. I actually am closer to the Washington D.C. and the Mid-Atlantic chapter.
Great. Yep, they've been around a while. Thanks a lot, Eric.
Okay.
Mark, who's next?
Okay, so I think we're down to Kanwalpreet Singh. Hello? Okay, I'll mute again. Matthew Smith.
Am I off mute?
You are, yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I was locally muted or not. So yes, I'm Matthew Smith. I'm with HP actually. So I'm with HP Software Professional Services. I'm on the professional services side, and I'm what's known as a global practice manager. And so what we work on is basically the services around the products, and so that may include things around people, process, and implementation or technical sides of things. Yeah, so just a couple comments. One of the things we do is work with some of our customers during the creation process of things we do, and I was listening to the first speaker and then I think the second speaker, whose name was Eric. And a number of those was more process-oriented, and that's actually one of the two topics they were bringing up was kind of more on the monitoring requests. How does that process work? How do you fulfill those requests? And then Eric seemed to be in what I interpreted as kind of more the onboarding process, which does include the asset management side and the like. Both of those are things we are working on from a best practices, people and process perspective. So I don't know if Eric or the first caller have any interest in having some offline discussions about that, but that's the kind of stuff we work on. Why I'm here on this call, basically, to look for ways to connect with our customers, work with them, and see how we can help each other.
Matt, this is Rocky. You guys are doing this day in and day out. What are some of the challenges that you see out there that you guys are enlisted in trying to solve?
So sure, yeah, I'll do that from more the people process side, because that's the request we get a lot of these days versus the technical side. I mean, implementation services and the like, we do that day in, day out, along with a number of our partners. Not to say anything negative about our partners. There's a lot of great partners on this call. And one of the things we've been trying to do is help our customers with the people and process side, and that's why I'm myself and actually one of my peers are looking at creating some better material and best practices around that. And two of the big topics right now are basically the onboarding process. So that goes all the way from bringing on how do we onboard an application, and all the way through monitoring requests, request systems, how do you keep track of it? The first person was talking about a spreadsheet and the like. And so yeah, so that's actually the biggest thing. So around basically service and operations bridge, that kind of story, the ops bridge story, when you have APM, so you have the service monitoring side, you may be doing network monitoring side, you have OMI in the middle of it all, and tying that into service management systems is, okay, now that you've started to create this operations bridge, it's getting big. There's a lot of tools talking to each other, a lot of people using those tools. What are the best practices around the people and the process is using these tools?
Yeah, that's great. And just to let everybody know, since this is Vivit and we're independent of HP, I always bring up the term the good, the bad, the ugly. So, if there's issues, concerns, or anything, there's no political correctness here. Feel free. So, Matt, where are you based out of?
So I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, great. That's good to know. I know we've got some chapters down there, and we're starting to see more from HP Professional Services getting engaged in Vivit. I'm just for everyone's attention or notice, I'm doing a BSM roadshow of HP Discover Barcelona updates, and I'm doing it in Columbus, Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis in the mid-March timeframe, and we're looking for host sites in Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis. So far, I've got Ohio covered, but yeah, Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis. We're looking for customers that will host the event for us, and basically we're just looking for a room for 20, 30 people, and HP will pay for the lunch, and we can talk about the updates. So if anybody on this call is in those areas, just reach out to me and we'll make that happen. So thanks, Matt.
And yes, for your information, I was the services person who reached out to you about that.
Okay, Great. Yeah, I was going to say we're starting to see more from professional service, and I think you guys are a great resource. I know that typically professional services focused on billing opportunities, but I think to start sharing with the community what you guys have done in the past and how you've done it, I think will help everybody.
Yeah, and that's exactly more my role is that. So I'm not a consultant. I'm not a billable consultant. I'm more of a working with our customers, and then obviously what I learn is I take that back to the rest of PS also, and then working with the customers, we can share what we know with them, and they can share with us, and that way we build up a better idea of how our customers are using our tools, especially building on the best practices around people and process.
Great. So Courtney, your question about who was just talking, that's Matthew Smith. He's with HP Professional Services. And Matthew, is your email address? Oh, there we go. We just popped up the email address. Beautiful.
So Courtney, I've unmuted you. If you want to ask, you've got your hand raised.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. So I didn't have any specific questions other than that one, but it is good to know that HP is looking at best practices for onboarding applications, because that is the stickiest point that we've got in our environment right now. So thank you. So Matthew, I will reach out to you and kind of go from there.
Okay. Right, so we're down to Randy Waldorf.
I think he's the one that couldn't.
He was the one. He was the one who said he didn't want to be. Sorry. Rolf Freidenberg.
This is Rolf Freidenberg from Norway. Work for an HP partner called Manage. Been around the HP software business since just before I left HP in '93. So it's been a while. I've been with Gartner for the last 3.5 years, so I'm not quite in touch with everything that's happening. But now I'm back in the HP software area again, focusing on cloud and automation actually more than BSM. But we have a lot of BSM customers as well.
Ralph, it's Rocky. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Ralph was part of this organization back when it was the OpenView Forum, and I think you were president at one point, but very active in keeping this organization alive in the early days.
I was never president, but I was program committee chair once for the Anaheim conference in '97. Sort of interesting to organize a conference 9 time zones away.
Yeah. Well, we don't do that anymore. So
no, those were the good old days.
Yeah. Thanks, Ralph. Let's go to Shelby, Mark.
Okay.
Shelby, how you doing?
Not bad. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Shelby's one of my boys here in Ohio. So what's going on?
Oh, not much. This is the first time jumping into one of these sessions because I've been out of loop for a while, and I'm ready to jump back in and see and work with some of the new tools that are available.
Great.
My next project is really updating our network node manager to the current version because it's way out of date, as well as my, I still call it OVO for some reason, but
okay.
I like the product. I need to get that upgraded also. But there's other tools out there that I'm interested in looking at. Just haven't had time to do it. But I've gotten so far behind.
Yeah, Shelby, there's a whole suite of products that have come out since the core OpenView days, and the evolution of these tools. What version of N&M are you on?
I am on NNMI. I think 8.
Are you on 8? Okay, good.
Yeah.
And OM, are you on 8 there as well?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm looking to go to 9 with the latest version of NNMI and run it on Linux.
So NNMI is different than OM.
Yes.
Just want you to know that. So I think people get confused when they hear about these two products, and they're assuming OMI is the upgrade for OM, but it is an evolutionary step from into OMI, and I think that's the direction HP is taking. That central console, if you will, that OM has had for so many years, and all the connectors and all those things that can come through OMI. I think it will replace OM, down the road. So.
Okay. I made a mistake. My network node manager is 7.51.
So unsupported.
Exactly. It's going to be a blow away and rebuild.
Shelby, I'll give you a call. We can talk about that. So. But yeah, you've got a ways to go, my friend, and make sure that once we're going to be at Nationwide Arena, or not Nationwide Arena, but Nationwide's going to be hosting our BSM event in March. So you'll see that invitation come through.
Okay. Well, Nationwide Arena is okay because they're just about right next door to each other.
Right. I don't think we need a venue for 44,000 people, but it could be interesting.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay.
Let's go to Steve Maxwell, if he's unless there's something there that maybe he's
Steve,
not around.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. I thought I was fumbling for a microphone on my end. Hey, guys, very, very open-ended question. Appreciate the forum here today. I'm an old-time practitioner of the BSM suite, back with BAC, even back when it was called Topaz.
Yep.
Old-time implementer of SiteScope when it was first acquired by the old Mercury. I'm blessed with a situation where we've got these tools recently purchased, and I got to really blow a lot of dust off. Seem to be talking about a lot of new ways of organizing the implementation, more versatile ways. Do you have any, with the bevy of resources, even on YouTube and whatnot, just all these resources everywhere, do you have particular keywords that a silverback like me would get me up to date?
Besides the HP website that's been redesigned for the technology, you can, as a practitioner, even if you don't own the current tools, you can get access to the manuals of the products. Mm-hmm. So, it's evolved, you bet, from Topaz. SiteScope is still prominent for the non-agent approach to monitoring that HP acquired when they acquired the Mercury technology back 5, 7, 8 years ago. But it's evolved now dramatically into this. So from the OpenView side, you had network and system management with NNM and OM, or whatever version it was called, because it's changed its name multiple times. But and then with the acquisition of the Mercury tools, we got the BAC products, which was all the synthetic and real-time monitoring and some of the diagnostics tools that came out of that. And I'm not sure where OMI, if that was built from HP or was already part of Mercury's products, but there's a new way to centralize the event monitoring into a more dynamic, real-time visualization of events and how they're tied to the business or the business application, and work it through a service management or a UC or a CMDB type approach to for ticketing and just keeping track of all this stuff. So it's evolved, and you can type in BSM, you can type in APM, you can type in HP monitoring. I think there's a lot. There's just a lot of stuff for guys like you who've done this in the past to dive in. It's grown dramatically because our environments have gotten more complex. So you want to reach out to me, I can kind of guide you more than that. But there's a ton of stuff out there. And if you're a member of Vivit, we're going to be doing a number of webinars with HP here in the next 2-3 months around the various technologies. And I've asked them, as we market these things, to make sure that, you know, the terminology of the name of the tool is part of the message versus 50,000-foot view on, you know, how's your monitoring world, or, I mean, it's not, the word monitoring is not even in there anymore, but I keep telling them, tie the tool in with your messaging so that customers or end users know that we're talking about a specific tool. So we'll keep you in the loop.
All right. I'm definitely here, and I'm going to need to invest in this knowledge.
So where are you located?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you know, I used to run the chapter out there a few times, and with all the companies in that area, or a few strong companies that were using the HP tools at one time. So what do you work for?
American Eagle Outfitters.
Okay, yeah, heard of them. Great.
So thank you for your time.
You bet. I don't know if there's anyone else. They have any questions?
We've been down the list and we've unmuted everybody in turn, so and there's no outstanding questions.
I want to thank everyone for their feedback, their comments. This, again, is an open forum. We try to schedule it once a month, so we'll plan the next one, and we'll go from there. Asaf, thanks for your feedback. Thanks for being on the call to support the HP folks, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Rocky.
Thanks a lot, Mark. You bet. Take care, buddy.
Thanks a lot. Bye.